Hi, welcome to my Married at First Sight review. Same disclaimer as last time. These are real people. I know I don't know them, but I'm still going to be giving my opinion anyway because they're on TV, but there's more to it than that. We know this. I've caught up on all the episodes. So, Chanita and Jordan. Now, they're very cute and everything. I think they're just that token couple who are doing really well. A little bit boring, to be honest. Quite clearly the Tyre and Adam of this series. Yeah, you've got to have one couple that's doing well and it isn't bringing any drama, but that's all I've really got to say on them because they're not really giving us anything to talk about. Whitney and Duka, oh my goodness. Okay, so I actually really liked Whitney to begin with. Like when she was at the hen party, just everything she was saying, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And she seemed to be the only girl who actually had standards. It just kind of felt like all the other girls were like, oh, I just want someone who has a job and is funny, and that's it. Like, they just would have been happy with some random person off the street. They're just like wanting to get married. But Whitney was the only one who had very strict idea of what she wanted, and good for her. Now, ever since that wedding, yes, it has been quite hard to watch, just the way she's talking, the things she's saying, and then you see Duka's reactions, and it's quite uncomfortable and quite sad because he's not being treated very well. However, I do sort of believe her because she keeps saying, oh, Duka's so different off camera, and I'm like, well, you know, we've not seen that, so yeah, it could be true. And if that is true, I can understand why she's getting so upset, because it must be quite frustrating for her to, like, the person she's got to spend time with is a different person to the one everyone else gets to see. So if she did have anything bad to say about him, people wouldn't understand it because they don't see that side to him. It is hard to watch though. So last night's episode was the dinner party, and it did sort of feel like, from what the girls were saying, she might sort of come round to him a bit more, and I would actually love it if these two worked out, which sounds really weird, but I just love an enemies to lovers storyline. Everyone on Twitter as well has been saying they really don't like Whitney, and there's not much Twitter community for Married at First Sight, by the way. Like, there's nothing going on there. It's very basic opinions. It's so easy to just look at Whitney and be like, oh yeah, she's horrible, I don't like her. Come on guys, have more of a vibe. There's more to it than that, you know? Yes, she's a little bit mean, but at least she's got standards. Anyway, we'll see how that works out. I'm actually rooting for them so much. I don't care what anyone says. I want Whitney and Duka to work out. Thomas and Adrian. Now, with these two, I don't think they're gonna work out. They don't really seem to have a romantic spark. But what I do respect about them is the fact that they do seem to have each other's backs, even though it's more of a friendship kind of thing. Like at the dinner party, they do seem to check up on each other and be like, oh, are you okay? How's it going? And if they find a romantic spark later on in the series, that would be really nice, but I don't know if I see that happening. But yeah, it is really lovely how they sort of look out for each other a little bit. And that's all you can do when you get married to a stranger. You don't know them at all. You can't really say, I love you, I want to spend my whole life with you, you're amazing, because you don't know them. But what you can say is, if you see me across the room, you will look at my face and know that I'm there for you. And I think that's a nice thing. April and George. So obviously the main drama of these two is April kissed a girl in the hot tub and George is absolutely livid. So there's 2 points of view here. April saying it was a dare, it didn't mean anything, I don't even know why he's reacting this way. And George is saying it doesn't matter if it was a girl, it's still cheating. Now, I don't agree with what April did. I do sort of agree with George that, yeah, just because it's a girl, it doesn't make it okay. But you can still understand why April thought it would be fine. So while I don't agree with what April did, what I also don't agree with is George being super dramatic, going around to each person, almost each person in the group, and saying, oh yeah, so April kissed a girl in the hot tub. And I just don't like that. Like, it's so snaky. I think he just feels wronged and he's trying to get validation from other people, which I understand. I had a driving test once where the examiner was so horrible to me and I just cried and it was terrible, and literally every single person who I spoke to for the next year, I would tell them about that test and be like, this happened to me, it was so awful, because it is just nice to get that validation and have people be like, yeah, that's really bad, poor you. I was like 18 when that happened though, so George is a fully grown man. He should be able to get through something without begging a load of people for validation. And I don't blame April for crying, because she obviously picked up on the fact that he'd gone round and told loads of people. Even when he addressed it with her on the honeymoon, he didn't even do it in a mature way then. The situation's never been addressed properly, and now it's just turned into gossip. So yeah, I can understand why April got so upset. I think that's perfectly valid. I think they could have got past the kiss, but I don't know if they'll get past George going round to every person and complaining about April behind her back. Jess and Pjay. Now, they both seem like really nice people. Pjay is literally the sweetest person ever. He seems so nice, and I know he's a stripper, but you know, you can't judge people by that. There's more to people than their jobs. This is what I'm saying. People have hobbies, have interests. Like, there's more to people than just what they do for work. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with being a stripper. It's fine. I don't know if I'd want to be with someone who was a stripper, but I wouldn't judge someone for being a stripper. And right, this is what really rattled me. Jess's mum she was absolutely horrified about him being a stripper, and then she drops into conversation, I've been and seen those shows before. What? You cannot judge somebody for being a stripper if you go and see those shows. That is absolutely absurd. It's so dehumanising of her to go and see those shows but then be so horrified at the thought of one of them being married to her daughter. It makes no sense. She's so hypocritical. I cannot stand that woman. So there doesn't seem to be a romantic spark at the moment, which, you know, it's fine. It is what it is. It's not everyone's gonna match up perfectly, I guess. I guess we'll see what happens in the future. Also, I don't understand, why did they never talk about Harry Potter? On the wedding day, they both mentioned Harry Potter in their vows. They were so delighted that they were both with someone who was into Harry Potter. But now they never talk about Harry Potter. Like, this is common ground. Just make the most of it. Lara and Ritchie. Oh my goodness. This man's head is up in the clouds. I don't understand. He's just hearing what he wants to hear and seeing what he wants to see. I don't think he's actually observing the situation around him. I mean, it's quite sweet because he's just so delighted with everything that's going on. But she doesn't like him. Yeah, I think he's just happy to be with someone. He's not really seeing her for her. She doesn't like him at all. She's very stressed out that he's just going to probably drain her emotionally, because it seems like he wants her to look after him. He literally thinks they're the perfect couple, but they're not at all, and it is hilarious, but it's also quite sad. So I hope that they manage to communicate a bit better and see where it goes. It is quite funny to watch though. Kasia and Kwame. This is not working at all. I mean, they seem to be getting on okay as friends, but I think the main issue here is that Kwame is just so insufferable. He's so self-absorbed. He doesn't listen. He only thinks about himself. I think Kwame has one of those complexes that men have. Now, it's got a name, I can't remember, but it's when they can't see a woman both sexually and like as a person who they would want to be with, and I think he's having that sort of issue. Ultimately, I just don't understand, out of all the hundreds, thousands of applicants, I don't know how many they get, is he really the best person they could find for Kasia? Because she's amazing, she's beautiful, she's got a great personality, she seems great. So I don't understand why they couldn't find someone better for her than Kwame. Zoe and Jenna. Oh, I literally love these two so much. I really hope they get past the vegan stuff, because every time they're on screen, I just find it so heartwarming. They just seem to really it's like they're in love already, honestly. Now, I know a lot of vegans and vegetarians, but none of them really tend to pressure the people around them to become vegan as well. Most of them kind of just like live and let live. So I can understand why Zoe's a little bit concerned about that. But ultimately, vegans are right. I'm not a vegan myself, but I know that vegans are right. Like, I'd never really argue with a vegan, because their point of view, like, they're right. Yeah, we shouldn't really be eating animals. It's bad for the environment, it's unethical, but I mean, I do it anyway. I'm in the same boat as Zoe. I try not to think about it. Zoe's either going to have to become vegan, or Jenna's going to have to put up with the fact that someone she's spending her life with is not a vegan. So I don't know what they'll do. I really do hope they get past it though, because they're so cute. Thanks for watching my video. See you in the next one. Bye.